Welcome, everybody, to a brand new, this is not a rerun, movie club. Mega64 Movie Club. And today, we're going to do a documentary. We've never done that before.
New edition.
It's
new evolution of the show.
Yeah. The next couple weeks are new frontiers for Movie Club. But this one is especially significant because it features a documentary on the laziest, stupidest,
weakest,
just turd.
It's a sports documentary too. You never thought you'd get a documentary, and especially not a sports documentary. Who
but
picked
here we
this
are.
film?
So it's probably no surprise it was my pick. You know, I think everyone you see that right. You see the title, you see where it's based off, and it's like, oh, this is a Sean pick, and that is true, it is. But
we are watching Free Solo, the Academy Award-winning documentary. This thing won an award, didn't it?
Yeah, it won the Oscar for Best Documentary.
That was crazy too, because that was the first year I think of my life that I knew what the best documentary. This won the Oscar, and I had actually seen it and knew what it was. I saw this in a theater.
Anybody know? It must have been a slow year for documentaries.
I don't know, but no. What are you saying? No, I think it was.
Guy climbing a rock is the best documentary of the year. Nobody shoot a gun that year. Come on.
This movie spoke to me from the beginning. I've been watching Yosemite, especially El Capitan documentaries, as long as they've been making them. There's one called Valley Uprising on Netflix it's just the history of it, super into it. And at the very end, they mention Alex Honnold. He's here's this new climber. We don't know what he's all about yet. And so when I found they're making this documentary, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be the one. I'm amped. So I watched it. You couldn't find it anywhere. So I think I torrented. I don't know how I got it, but I watched it on the shittiest little laptop trying to watch this thing. And it was still good and impressive. But then a week later, it's oh, we're going to put it in theaters now. And I was like, Rocco, we got to go.
Yeah.
You don't care about this, but I think this is a theater experience you'll want to see. I think.
Yeah. And it was a fun experience because I saw, again, seeing a documentary in a theater, I usually don't, but seeing that with Sean, and then out of nowhere, oh, Sean's dad's here. Okay. Sitting there with father and son. I was just never thought I'd see a movie with Sean's dad, but okay,
Here we are.
We had a great time. And by great, I mean, I think the chairs were drenched in sweat by the end. Just on the hand grips. I just really I don't know, we'll get into the plot. I guess there is a plot. Yeah.
But I will say that the theater experience, I will put on the same it was almost interactive it was for Jackass. Not so much, but it was just quiet in the theater, and randomly you would hear, oh fuck. From a different part of the theater. So.
Yeah, you just hear someone in the back go, huh. Yeah. It was fun seeing it in a theater, but of course now it's on Disney Plus and other stuff, so you can see it anywhere, but the theater experience was cool.
Yeah.
Well, I saw it on Disney Plus for the first time in my living room with my girlfriend and Johnny. I don't know if I had the same experience as you guys did.
Sure.
I don't know if I really enjoyed Free Solo.
Right.
But I had a good time kind of riffing on it.
Okay.
But, we could talk about it as we get into it. If you want to talk about just the movie in general. Yeah. I think because it was a documentary, I just found that I didn't like the people in this movie.
I see.
And I kind of, but we'll talk about it. I don't want to say too much too soon.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I still don't know if I like the guy, there's a lot to be said about that.
I think the guy is not when they did that brain scan, there's something off here, So
let's talk about him.
Okay.
The movie follows what some people might say is like the world's current greatest superstar in the world of mountain climbing. A guy named Alex Honnold. I'm not sure how old he is at the time of the filming of this movie, but I want to say he's like 30 years old, maybe late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. Let me look it up. But yeah, he's younger.
Yeah, and Alex has basically climbed every mountain in the world, and what this movie kind of presents is the idea that Alex is the world's greatest free solo climber. A lot of people before this movie may never have heard of free solo climbing. It's mountain climbing without a rope.
Yeah.
Why do they call it free solo? I don't know. I guess dangerous, about to die climbing doesn't sound cool. I don't know what's free. You're free to die, and you will die by yourself, so it's called free soloing.
I think that is honestly like, yeah, you're free. There's no rope connecting you, and they usually do them by itself. So I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, well,
you gotta wonder if they're thinking of a sequel to do Free Duo or something.
Yeah, I'm not a mountain climber.
Like he's gonna bring a baby or something next time.
Can you explain how mountain climbing works? Do you need two people to do it? I'm not sure.
Dude, if he brought a baby on the next one and it's the same shit but with a kid involved.
Now we're talking.
I think when you mountain climb, I don't know everybody out there if you're a climber, but don't you need somebody like pulling the rope to help you or something?
No, I mean, that's like in the gym. Like when you're doing this shit, like you have someone holding, like it's a fucking crazy system that I fully don't understand. And I've watched a lot of shit about it. What's that?
Have you ever done it?
Climb like that or no? I mean,
just
like
done like mountain climbing. I don't know.
No, I mean, I've gone to like indoor gyms and I would definitely mountain climb. I wouldn't do this or like El Capitan, but I would do like I've always been climbing rocks and stuff like that. So I think I could do it to like, I mean, a very beginner's level, you know.
I know. Okay. I follow two people on Instagram that regularly climb, and they're both hot. So it's a chicken or the egg situation. Are they hot because they climb, or maybe only hot people can climb?
You have to be like in insane shape to do any of this. So yeah, I
think you start by climbing the stairs, and it just gets harder and harder, and your body gets hotter and hotter. That's how it works.
Yeah. I don't know, but that sounds like a challenge to me. Like I should do free solo too. They say only hot people can do it. I'll do it. Yo, this guy is this dude is like 300 pounds and he doesn't go outside very much.
Rocco's gonna free solo a chain link fence for the next 90 minutes. We're gonna
just have like that guy have a little kid do it. Like have all walks of life do it.
Yeah,
and watch them perish.
That's on you. So, I want to see him succeed, but yeah.
This movie is kind of about man versus nature. Alex versus El Capitan in Yosemite.
Yeah,
which apparently is a famous mountain. I don't know, but like, big whoop, huge rock.
It
John,
is.
I don't know if you have any other perspective on this.
I feel like you're right. It is a huge rock. I don't think the thing is like this movie does a pretty good job showing you how big it really is. But dude, I'm telling you, if you guys ever go, you'll look at that thing and be like, yeah, fuck that. Like you see it and it doesn't even compute how something could be that big. It doesn't make sense. So the idea of like, and maybe that's what it is for me, where it's just like, dude, I've seen this rock my entire life and thought like, how the fuck would anyone climb that with a rope? And to see this, it's like, it's just beyond my comprehension.
Only at the end of the movie, I feel like, do they show you the true scale, because they have a shot of him. Spoiler alert, he climbs it.
Yeah.
Which do you know that going into this movie or not?
I don't think that. I mean, I knew because I follow enough people to know that he didn't die, so I would have known.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know anything going into this personally.
I didn't know, but I just felt like he did it. Somehow I knew he did it. And I also felt like, well, I would have heard if this guy died making this movie, right?
Right.
So at the end of the movie, when he does it, they have a shot of him, full body, and they pull out and they pull out and they pull out. And that's when you get like the full scale of like, oh my God, they keep pulling. I can't even see him anymore, and it's just the wall of the rock.
Yeah.
I wish they would have done that earlier in the movie because you're right. They don't really convey the scale of this thing properly.
Right. I don't think, honestly, this is the closest I've ever seen someone actually do it. Like, I've seen 10,000 movies and pictures of this fucking rock, and it's like you can't capture it. I don't know how you. I know. So this is the closest I've come.
And
so
I'll
Alex
add to that. Oh, what's that?
Go ahead.
All I was gonna say was, I do agree they should have done that earlier. My only like kind of beefs with this movie that I'll say is they should have done that earlier. And they also, like, at one point later in the movie, I think they bring up a time, like how long it took them to do it.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, oh, that's how long it takes. Like, that was another thing that, like, going into the movie, I didn't know how long this kind of thing would take.
Right. And
like,
and that's the thing too, where it's like, you're right. And that first documentary that I just mentioned called Valley Uprising, like they mentioned like, yeah, the first guy to ever climb this thing, it took him like 12 days, and they had to sleep on the face of the thing for that long, and then you know keep going, and then like eventually they kept breaking the record, and then like by the end of it, like this is like as fast as you could possibly go, but like it takes the average person, a normal climber who's very skilled, like 2 days to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, but
and that's what I was kind of going into it. They say something like that at the end. I don't remember the exact number, but or how long it took him to actually do it. But when they said it, I was just like, oh my! I didn't know if this was like an hour to climb this or what. I don't know. You know, so that was one thing I was kind of like, you got to clue me in on that.
You know, generally speaking, I felt like this movie left a lot unsaid in a lot of ways, and I felt like they kind of present Alex in a way as like a superhero in the world of climbing. They also show him as like a broken person, which is kind of what the second half of the movie is about. Mm-hmm. And then I was reading some other reviews about this movie, and I kind of felt this way, but I couldn't really put my finger on it until somebody else said this. This movie glorifies free soloing, which is insanely dangerous and probably should not be glorified.
Right.
And so at the end, the movie kind of throws out the danger warning, and it's really like, you know, a celebration of what he's done, and it kind of just goes on to glorify free soloing some more, which I'll say some more about maybe at the end of this episode, but, you know, well, I guess at this point in the movie, Alex has this goal. He wants to free solo El Capitan, right? Just climb this mountain, which has never been free soloed before. Mm-hmm. And then it dives into like, who is this guy, Alex? Which is interesting and really is the crux of this movie. Like, who is he? And then how dangerous really is free soloing, right? Mm-hmm. He like lives in his van. He travels all over the world, climbing mountains. They make it seem like he free solos every mountain he visits, but I did some research and read that he only does this like 5% of the time. He usually wears a rope. I looked up some of the other mountains he's climbed. There are some amazing mountains in this world.
Yeah.
Everybody's always wearing gear from Patagonia, and he famously climbed this mountain in Patagonia called the Fitzroy, which is like this insane spiky. It looks like out of a fantasy movie. Mm-hmm. I wish there was like a documentary about all of those mountains too.
Yeah.
But then he like on a book tour, he talks about how he doesn't have a girlfriend. He's not married. And he kind of says that he doesn't want to have a relationship because it would get in the way of his climbing. So he's totally dedicated to climbing, and his dream is to climb, you know, El Capitan, be the first guy who's done it and kind of cement his role, his place in history, which is really the crux of this documentary, watching a guy chase his dream and try to become the world's first free solo mountain climber to do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about like the setup here, the first act of the movie?
No, I mean, I feel like they kind of, I really do. They start the movie showing you like him super high, and it's like this shot of like kind of just like craning out over the edge to like see him like just without a rope. And I felt like once I saw that, I was like, for me, I was in. It's like, okay, the film crew isn't just some like film crew. This is like mountain climbers who are also filming. Like they know their shit, and it's like this is something that this is a shot that's not normal. That you would have to be really skilled to get this shot, which made me stoked. But I know what you're saying about. I kind of feel like maybe this movie was made by climbers, kind of for climbers, because I just feel like they treat him like he's like some hero and stuff like that. And if I needed someone else to kind of be like dumb it down for me a little bit,
Yeah. I just recently watched a different mountain climbing movie about Mount Everest. It was made by like the same guys, and so there were people in that movie showing up in this movie, and I realized like, oh dang, like there's only a handful of mountain climbing filmmakers out there. They kind of make everything.
That's true. And there's another documentary called The Dawn Wall, and the star of that is that guy who helps train him, like Tommy Caldwell is his name. But like that's his documentary. And so you're right. It's like they all have their own. These are like the elite of the climbing world,
When I mentioned that this movie kind of glorifies free soloing and the danger of climbing, I read a review on climbing.com, which is a mountain climbing magazine and website. And there's a little excerpt here where they talk about how this is kind of a problem in all mountain climbing documentaries. I'm going to read you a part of this review. It says, in the 1997 film Masters of Stone 4, which badass name if you guys want to watch Masters of Stone 4, Dan Osmond not only performs his well-known speed solo of Lover's Leap, Bear's Reach, but he also dry tools a fast-flowing waterfall without a rope.
Damn.
Both segments are presented as being unabashedly rad. In Valley Uprising, the film speculates that Dean Potter's free soloing while wearing a base jumping parachute may be the next big progression in our sport.
Yeah.
Neither of those men are alive today.
Right. And honestly, Derek, I will tell you that Dean Potter, we mentioned Valley Uprising, he was like a big part of that. And I'm like, this guy rules. I like this guy. So I didn't know he died. And so when I saw Free Solo, I was like, oh, fuck, that guy died? Like, it was like a suit. I was like, that hit me hard.
Not only that, this article goes on to say that the filmmakers of Free Solo had made a previous movie called Maru, where the whole movie is like, we might die on this mountain. And at the end of the movie, they go to the summit despite the fact that one of the people in their group is non-communicative after having potentially suffered a stroke.
What the fuck?
And then they just like go to the summit and then roll credits. Like, that's it. And the whole movie's like, we might die on this mountain. That's kind of what this is about. Man versus nature. So I don't know. Like, I'm not a member of the climbing community, but I do think that there is at least a portion out there that are like this. All of these documentaries are always trying to glorify the danger of climbing. And it went on to say that like they were really lucky that Alex survived this attempt, and that it really was kind of insane and reckless for them to be trying. And they went back. When I read this, they kind of recontextualized the movie. They're like, you go back, everybody's trying to talk this guy out of it. His girlfriend's trying to talk him out of it. By the way, he later gets a girlfriend in this movie, and she does try to talk him out of climbing. His friends are trying to talk him out of it. His mentors are trying to talk him out of it. But he has like the film crew there, and they go for it, and it's kind of like a matter of they got away with something and they got really lucky, and good thing it all worked out.
Yeah. I mean, and that is like, go ahead. You were saying something else?
No, that's it. Just to present, I guess, a little bit of controversy about this award-winning documentary for people out there, because you watch it at face value and it's like, holy shit,
I think
this guy's doing something amazing. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, they do talk about the death part of it a lot and how every great free soloist is now dead except for him, right? Like, and it shows you like all this shit, and they show you that Dean Potter thing, or Porter, whatever, and him falling, and you think you're gonna see him die, and then the parachute comes out of nowhere. Like you see all that. I think, like, I do understand what they're saying about the danger of it, but I think that it's a danger that like there are probably 2 people who watch this movie who are like, oh, I'm gonna do that next. But like everyone else is like, fuck that. It's like I feel like the average person is not gonna have a desire to go do that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I also feel like the reason why I like this documentary so much is, most things like this, or whether it's a movie or a documentary, they really glamorize the drivenness, and the like against all odds kind of thing. And sorry, I feel like this documentary to me shows the dark side of that. Like it's easy to glamorize that and make that look good, but then you see kind of this guy like really mismanaging his relationship and kind of being shitty to another person that cares about him, and I think he looks kind of psychotic in this.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked seeing like, okay, yeah, we got the thrill of seeing what he did, but I didn't leave it feeling like it was a good idea, or anything like it. It felt, if anything, like, yeah, cool, that guy's a psycho.
I think we're all on the same page on that.
Yeah.
Definitely. For me, that kind of ruined the movie. Because not only did I think Alex was a psycho, I was really heartbroken to see how he treated his girlfriend in their relationship. Because he really like hurt her feelings time and again. Just being like, they talk about it a lot. He has trouble expressing that he loves her. She is always saying, like, I'm worried that you're going to die, and he doesn't seem to care. He seems to get annoyed about that. But at the same time, too, it's funny because it's like she met him on a book tour,
right?
And he's a world-famous free solo climber. And he said, like, I don't want to have a relationship because I don't want a girlfriend tell me not to climb. And literally, like, 10 minutes later, he has a girlfriend being like, I don't think you should climb. Are you even thinking about what I'm thinking about?
Right.
So I kind of, like, hate both of them a little bit. I'm like, you guys should not be together, and you're all psycho.
To me, I agree with you that he does not treat her well, but it's kind of the thing where it's like she knew exactly what she was getting into when she started dating him, and this guy clearly has no sense of how to, like, he can't be empathetic or sympathetic to anyone. He is just all about what he wants, and that's just who he is. And yeah, he's a climber and does this crazy shit. So it's like, I get her, like, yo, I care about you. I don't want you to climb. But also it's like, you met him on a book tour because he's a climber. Like, he's going to climb,
And then, the filmmakers are like, we feel bad. We feel like we're pressuring him to climb. And I'm like, yeah, you kind of are. Like, you all know you're here squirming because you're afraid you're going to film a guy dying. And then kind of, I felt like personally, and I don't know how you guys felt, but there was a part of me that felt like, climb this damn mountain already. Will you climb the damn mountain already? I think when we were about 40 minutes in, I really just wanted to see it at that point. They really hyped it up.
Yeah.
But I'm only voicing criticisms. And I think everything you guys are saying as a positive thing, I also absolutely agree with. Especially like that guy with the parachute and he falls off. It's like breathtaking. Like, oh my God, I'm watching a guy die. Oh no, thank God he has a parachute.
Right.
Which, spoiler if you haven't seen that, because
yeah. Cool. Yeah, and like, I don't know. I feel like I know what you're saying about climbing the mountain, but I really liked how they spent the time to teach you the parts of the mountain that were the biggest challenges. So like you knew like, oh dude, he's gonna do that kick coming up. Oh fuck, here it comes. Like I really liked how they spent all the time of him showing how he like practiced the thumb hold. Like he just knew every single centimeter.
The finger blast.
Yeah, he knew every centimeter of that entire 3,000-foot wall. And that I thought was like his journal, like all that stuff is like, yeah, you needed to do this. You need to be like so crazy aware of everything.
Yeah. And as someone who I did not know a thing about this hobby or whatever you want to call it beforehand, I thought they did a great job getting me in on that, like getting me in on how this operates, or at least for him.
I have to spoil this episode. I'm calling you on my phone and it has 1%. And it's plugged in charging, but it's about to die.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then, Derek, what you should do is give us your shakers now. If you go, then we'll wrap it up without you.
I give it 3 out of 5 popcorn shakes, and I had a bunch of trivia about this episode that I'm not going to be able to share, but I will say that Alex always listens to Eminem Lose Yourself on every single climb.
Now that is what I wanted to know, because he was going to his iPod. I'm like, what the fuck is he listening to? I got to know. Now I know. Hell yeah.
I bet if you got more stuff, 1% goes a long time. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, well, give us some more facts. Or trivia.
Okay.
I saw one, and I think I have the name of it. Oh, god damn it. 1 second. I have it. He is the only person to do the triple crown of climbing in Yosemite in one day. So he climbed the face of Half Dome, Mount Watkins, which I don't know that mountain, and El Cap in the same day.
Holy shit.
Which is fucking insane. And yes, he had a rope for those, but still, that's insane.
Dude, yesterday I slept in till like noon.
Yeah. Oh, we lost him.
Is he gone?
Yeah, you said 1% was going to last, but it did not.
Wow. Famous. Jinx that one.
Yeah.
I just know that happens to me on my iPhone all the time. It gets to 1%, and that 1% goes, I make that last. So.
Yeah. I really love this documentary. I love Yosemite.
Yeah.
I've always, and like, this is like, this speaks to me. But when I was a kid, my dad and I used to ride our bikes from our campsite to El Capitan at night, and we would just watch the flash of the lights on the wall. People who are staying up there are still climbing, and we would just sit there and like look at those people.
Yeah.
So I've always been fascinated by that, and like the idea of like sleeping on a ledge, or not even a ledge, but you're sleeping on your cot is just hanging off this wall. Like that's like, I don't know. I always thought that was fascinating to me.
Yeah.
So to see this, I don't know. I really love this movie. I will give it, I think of all as documentaries go, like there are other ones like The King of Kong, I think is like probably a better documentary, because this is like, that's a story. Like there is a plot if you look at The King of Kong, like if you want to go off that. This is more just like, hey, this guy's training to do this, and here he goes, and you see it.
Yeah.
But the shots they were able to get, the athletic feat. I mean, this is like one of the greatest human achievements. I think. Like, yeah, like just like a person could do that. That's insane. I give it 4 stars, or 4 shakers, I should say.
I was gonna say I don't know of many other documentaries too that have made me sweat like this. Like and again, maybe I have a bias because I saw it in a theater and that was a better experience, Right. A lot of the things that Derek was mentioning as things that brought it down for him were only, to me, made it better because I personally, I'm not a huge documentary person, honestly. Like half the time I'm like, yeah, okay, great. But this was such a bizarre case study. And again, like, these people, some of these people are driven and they'll go this far and we hold that up on a pedestal, but yeah, maybe you got to have something wrong with you to get that far. Maybe you did, not saying necessarily, but
definitely has so many flaws.
Yeah.
It's very obvious that this guy there's something wired differently with him than with the normal person. Yeah. And so, I think in order to do this, you have to be wired that way, the way he is. Yeah. So, anyways.
Yeah. So, anyway, this was one of the best documentary experiences I've ever had.
Me too.
And again, maybe that was seen in a theater that changed that. Maybe not. I don't know. But I'm going to agree. For me, it was a 4. I would say I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 because I can't name that many where I felt like that was an experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved it. What's that?
I've seen it probably 5 times now, and my palms sweat every time. So, good for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty gnarly. No desire to climb shit after this. There's some things you watch and you go, oh, I'm inspired. No, this reverse inspired me. I'm looking at this going, fucking idiot. Stupid.
I looked at this and thinking like, if I had a rope and an expert with me, I would try to climb this. I would try, but
oh man,
I don't think I will ever get an expert, and I also think Jenny would let me. So I probably will never do this.
well, that I don't know. That's just the difference in how we operate. I watch Scarface, and I don't want to like make money anymore.
Well, there you go.
See? some people. I remember anytime you'd watch Cribs back in the early 2000s, every musician had, check it out, Scarface on my wall. I got a copy of Scarface over here or whatever. No, I was the reverse. I was like, all this trouble he goes through, shit, I want to be poor.
Yeah, it's way easier to be poor.
Difference how we operate.
Yeah. All right, Rocco, that was our first documentary. Now what are we going to do? You're picking the next one.
Okay, so we are going to continue to tread into new territory for Mega64 Movie Club in 2020. We're not going to rest on our, we're not going to rest on old habits. None of this early 2000s comedy shit. None of this. Well, I don't know. Maybe someone will pick one later. But
yeah,
we did a documentary. Next week we're going even further out of our comfort zone. Sean, I know you're going to be hyped about this. I can't wait. We're doing anime. That's right. Our first anime movie. We're going to watch it subtitled. No, we're not doing any English. You know what? No subs. We're going to watch it native Japanese.
Perfect.
So you'll have to learn some things. Ghost in the Shell is a classic. People consider it an anime classic. It's always listed up there with like, this inspired this, and this. I've never seen it. After all these years, I've never watched it. So I think we're all going to see it for the first time.
Cool.
I don't think Derek's seen it, so I'm going to speak for him. I don't think so.
I don't think he has either.
So,
and spoiler, I have not seen it as well. Cool. Well, that sounds great. We will see you guys next week. And if you haven't watched Free Solo and you watch this, go watch it.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. You know he lives. Whatever. You'll still be freaking out. It's great.
It's not long. It's not long, and you will definitely have a reaction one way or another. This isn't a dull watch. You're gonna have a big reaction.
The last thing I'll say about it is you put this movie on, and I don't care who's in your house, they will stop what they're doing and they will watch it.
Yeah.
Every time I've done that, everyone's like, "Oh, I've seen it," and they always just, "Oh, 1 second, yeah, what the?" And so everyone just stops and has to look at it because it's
absolutely
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's definitely worth it for that. Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. All right, to take us out, Sean, climb something.
Okay. Let me get this going. Okay, you can see that? Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't know. I'm gonna turn this off as soon as he
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all watching.
Okay. 1 second.
I'm gonna turn it off as soon as Oh,
I can't do it! I'm not strong enough!
I should have cut it earlier so it looked like he fell.